Want to speak real Thai from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ThaiPod101.com.
Hello guys, I'm Jay and welcome to Top 25 Thai Phrases. Okay, now let's begin. สวัสดี Hello สวัสดี or in English it means hello, like you use it every day with everyone you want to use it with. And when you do it with adults, you do like this สวัสดี or with friends like สวัสดี สวัสดี Goodbye. Goodbye, we also use the same word. สวัสดี So when you're going to separate from your friends or like teacher or your parents, you can say like สวัสดี สบายดีไหม How are you? When you meet a person or meet people, anyone like random people on the street or even like your friends, your close friends, your parents, your teachers, also say like สบายดีไหม How are you? สบายดี I'm fine. And when people ask you back like สบายดีไหม How are you? And you want to tell them like I'm fine. You say สบายดี ฉันชื่อ My name is. ฉันชื่อ is My name is. You use it often, right? To introduce yourself like ฉันชื่อ J. My name is J. Easy, isn't it? ใช่ Yes. ใช่ In English it is yes. Have you studied? You want to say yes, I have. You just say ใช่ ไม่ No. Or you want to say no, you say ไม่ ขอโทษ Sorry. When you do something wrong and you feel very, very sorry, you want to apologize to the person. You say ขอโทษ And if you do something wrong to people who are older than you, you can also do this and say ขอโทษ at the same time. ขอโทษ ขอบคุณ Thank you. And when you feel like you want to say thank you to people, you say ขอบคุณ ขอบคุณ Thank you. ไม่เป็นไร It's okay. ไม่เป็นไร means it's okay. Like if people want to offer you something like, okay, do you want a coffee or you want tea? And you said, oh, it's okay. I don't really want it. You can say like ไม่เป็นไร or maybe like sometimes you hurt yourself and people say like, are you okay? You just say like, no, I'm fine. You can just say like ไม่เป็นไร อะไร What? This one I use often. What? You can say what? You said อะไร อะไรนะ อะไรอะ If you want to be polite, you said like นี่คืออะไรคะ or you want it to be rude, you said อะไร It's like same as like other languages, right? So it depends on your tone as well. ที่ไหน Where? ที่ไหน ที่ไหน is where. When you want to ask for direction or like places, you use this quite often, like ที่ไหน เมื่อไหร่ When? เมื่อไหร่ เมื่อไหร่ is like you want to ask when are you going to school? When is the lunch break? You use this like เมื่อไหร่ เมื่อไหร่คุณจะไปโรงเรียน means like when are you going to school? ทำไม Why? Okay, why? Like ทำไม Yeah, so it depends on your tone, right? And you want it to be like more of like a question. You raise your tone up like ทำไมอะทำไม ยังไง How? ยังไง ไปที่นี่ยังไง ไปที่นี่ยังไงอะไปที่นี่ยังไงคะ like you raise the tone up a bit. คุณพูดภาษาอังกฤษได้ไหม Do you speak English? คุณพูดภาษาอังกฤษได้ไหม Remember to raise your tone up at the end when it is a question. กี่โมงแล้ว What time is it? What time is it? กี่โมงแล้ว กี่โมงแล้ว ตอนนี้กี่โมงแล้ว like what time is it now? อยู่ที่ไหน Where is? อยู่ที่ไหน Where is it? Like where are you now? คุณอยู่ที่ไหนตอนนี้ ไปยังไง How do you go to? If you want to ask, how do you get to the train station? In Thai, you might ask จะไปสถานีรถไฟยังไงคะจะไปสถานีรถไฟยังไงครับอะไรนะ I beg your pardon actually this is more of like what right I mean but in a more polite way to say what you said I beg your pardon if you remember อะไร means what so you just put the word นะ to make the sentence softer like อะไรนะอะไรนะ for example ยินดีที่ได้รู้จัก nice to meet you ยินดีที่ได้รู้จักนะคะยินดีที่ได้รู้จักครับ like nice to meet you เท่าไหร่ how much this one is my favorite because I go shopping quite often so I use this one quite often as well เท่าไหร่เท่าไหร่ is how much this product this goods this clothes you use this word like เท่าไหร่อันนี้เท่าไหร่ meaning how much is this ลดหน่อยได้ไหม can you lower the price ลดหน่อยได้ไหมลดหน่อยได้ไหม meaning can you lower the price if you go to Thailand you have to use this one definitely ลดหน่อยได้ไหมคะ make it a bit cuter people will lower the price for you for sure believe me ฉันคิดถึงคุณ I missed you I always say these words to my friends and like to like your family like to everyone like okay so in Thai you say ฉันคิดถึงคุณ for guys you say ผมคิดถึงคุณ I miss you nice ค่ะ แล้วเจอกัน see you later so when you are going with friends and you just like going to separate them like going home or somebody is like เจอกันนะแล้วเจอกันนะคะแล้วเจอกันนะคะ thank you guys for watching what is your favorite phrase so far okay anyway please don't forget to subscribe the channel and see you guys soon bye bye
สวัสดีค่ะดิฉันปรารถนาค่ะ Welcome to ThaiPod101.com's ตัวอักษรไทย made easy the fastest easiest and most fun way to learn the Thai alphabet ตัวอักษรไทยOver the next 25 lessons you'll learn everything there is about the reading and writing of the Thai language by the end you'll be able to read Thai menu items communicate online and make your way through Thailand easier learning to read and write Thai will also help you to speak Thai better are you ready then let's go The Thai alphabet is made up of 44 consonants. That might seem like a lot to you now, but if you just learn a few at a time, you'll see that they're not difficult to master. Thai is read from left to right just like English. The letters of the Thai alphabet are grouped into 3 consonant classes, low, middle, and high. In this lesson, we'll learn 2 low-class consonants. Each Thai consonant has a name made up of 2 parts. The first part of the name is the sound that the letter makes as the initial sound of a syllable. The last part of the name is some word that contains that letter. These names make it easier to remember the letters. In addition to the consonants, the Thai script has 32 vowels. That sounds like a lot, but most of them are pairs of long and short vowels. So it's not as hard as you think. The Thai vowels have to be written and attached to a consonant. They can appear above, below, in front, behind, or all around a consonant. Thai has 5 different tones. Tone means how high or low the pitch of a sound is. The 5 tones are mid, low, falling, high, and rising. Or if we use the sound ga as an example, the 5 tones are ga, 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 ga. If you make the wrong tone, you won't be easily understood. Thai script has 4 different tone symbols, which helps to indicate different tones in writing, but they don't automatically tell you which tone a syllable is. The consonant class, length of the vowel, and type of ending sound also factor in. If that sounds like a lot to keep track of, don't worry. We'll tackle each tone rule one by one so you won't feel overwhelmed. Okay, are you ready to learn your first Thai consonant? Let's begin. Let's start with the letter Ma. Remember how I said each letter has 2 parts to its name? The first part of Ma is Ma because it makes a sound just like the letter M. And Ma is a word that means horse. Most Thai letters start with a small circle which we call the head of the letter. The head of Ma is written clockwise and the rest of the letter is written with one continuous line. If you want an easy way to remember the shape of this letter, think of a coffee mug with a broken handle. The head on the top and the loop on the bottom are where the handle used to be attached. This will help you to remember that ma has the head and loop on the same side. And of course, ma and mug both start with the same sound. Now it's time to take up your pencils. We're going to practice writing. Find some paper and follow along. Okay, here we go. Start with the head, go down and make a loop, go to the right, and then back up. See how easy that was? Now you're going to learn your second consonant. The next consonant is nonu. It makes a sound just like the letter N. Do you know what animal nonu is named after? Nu means rat in Thai. I bet you're thinking that nonu looks very similar to ma. Well, you're right. The only difference between the shape of these two letters is nonu has the loop on the right side instead of the left side. That's why I said you should remember a mug for ma that has a broken handle on the left side. Nonu is handwritten like this. The head is drawn clockwise, and the loop is in the lower right corner. Now you know two Thai consonants, but we need to learn some vowels before we can start making words. Remember that the Thai alphabet is entirely consonants. Vowels are a separate group of symbols that orbit around the consonants. The Thai word for vowel is sara. Each vowel's name is made up of the word sara plus the sound that the vowel makes. The first vowel that we'll learn is sara-a. It is written to the right of a consonant. But a lot of other vowels will be found in different positions. Vowels can be long or short. In this case, sara-a is a long vowel that makes the sound a like the A in father. Sara-a is very easy to write. Just draw a slightly curved line and then drop straight down. It looks a little like a cane or walking stick. If you think of the sentence, my father walks with a cane, it will help you remember the shape of sara-a. You will never see sara-a written just by itself like this. It always has to follow a consonant. Let's use the consonants we learned to demonstrate. Ma followed by sara-a is the word ma. This is a verb meaning to come. Let's practice writing it together. Ma, sara-a, ma. Now let's try a new word. This time we'll start with nonu. Nonu followed by sara-a makes na. This is the word for rice field. Let's write it together. Nonu, sara-a, na. Many Thai consonants have different sounds at the beginning and end of syllables, but these two consonants, ma and nonu, don't change their sound. So you can make another word very easily just by adding another nonu to the end of na. Now you have the word nan, which means a long time. Let's write it now. Nonu, sara-a, nonu, nan. Wow, you've already learned how to write 3 words in Thai. See, it's not that hard after all. Now it's time for Prathana's points. Practice writing these letters and words until it becomes second nature. Keep a notebook and write the letters many times while saying their names out loud. That way, the shape of the letter, the sound it makes, and the letter's name will sink deep into your memory. Did you notice that all the words you learned today are pronounced with a mid-tone? It's not just random. There's a rule for it. And in the next ตัวอักษรไทย Made Easy lesson, you'll learn your first rule for reading tones in Thai. See you there. สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะทุกคน ดิฉันกิตยาค่ะ Hi everybody, I am Kitaya. Welcome to ThaiPod101.com's Learn Thai in 3 minutes. The fastest, easiest, and the most fun way to learn Thai. คุณรวินพร has been doing a great job getting us started, but I'm here to help you the rest of the way. In the last lesson, we learned how to ask someone if they could speak English. In this lesson, we are going to learn numbers in Thai. Yes, numbers, ตัวเลข from 1 to 10. Are you ready? Let's start. 1 Okay, now repeat after me. I will say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 Great job! What is before 1? For 0, we use 0. You don't have any more excuses. You can give your friends your cell phone number in Thai. Let's try together. As you remember, in Thai, we sometimes have to use different words depending on our gender. To say, my number is, women will start the sentence this way. เบอร์โทรศัพท์ของดิฉันคือ and men will start the sentence this way. เบอร์โทรศัพท์ของผมคือ The only thing that changes is the man will say ผม instead of ดิฉัน เบอร์โทรศัพท์ของดิฉันคือเบอร์โทรศัพท์ของผมคือ So let's say I want to give my phone number. เบอร์โทรศัพท์ของดิฉันคือ0831224968 Can you read this by yourself? 0831224968 Perfect. Now it's time for Kitaya's quick tip. When we go to the bank in Thailand, we sometimes have to wait with a number. When it's your turn, the computerized voice will announce your number. First, it will say หมายเลข which means number, and then it will finish with the number หมายเลข 1 หมายเลข 2 and so on. Learn your numbers well so you can be ready. Do you know the Thai word for 100? It's really easy. In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in Thai. Your task now is to practice the numbers we study in this lesson from 1 to 10 แล้วพบกันใหม่ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ ดิฉันปรารถนาค่ะ Welcome to ThaiPod101.com's ตัวอักษรไทย made easy. The fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Thai alphabet. ตัวอักษรไทย In the last lesson, we learned 2 Thai consonants and 1 vowel. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn 3 more consonants and your first tone rule. Ready to start? Then let's go! The three consonants that you are going to learn are all low-class consonants. The first one is ngongu. It makes the sound ng, just like the ng at the end of the word sing. This sound is not difficult for English speakers. You just have to get used to making the sound ng at the beginning of words too. Ngongu is also named after an animal. Can you guess which one? Ngu means snake. You can remember the shape of this letter easily. Just think of a snake with its body bent. Get out your pen and paper and let's practice writing it together. Start with the head, drop down, then veer up at an angle. It's easy, right? The next consonant you'll learn is yak. As the initial sound of a syllable, it makes the sound y, just like the letter Y in yes. As the final sound of a syllable, it adds the sound e that blends with the vowel, just like the Y at the end of the words say and boy. And if you're wondering about the name of yak, the word yak means a giant. Yak is distinctive because it's the only Thai letter with two bumps on one side, like this. Let's write yak together. The head goes counterclockwise. We make two bumps and then come back to the top at a right angle. Time for our last consonant. This one is called wawan. It makes the sound w, just like the W in water. But when it is the final consonant in a syllable, it blends with the vowel to add a slight o sound. The name of wawan comes from the word wan, which means ring. Let's write wawan together. Start with the head at the bottom and curl to the left. We've now learned 5 consonants plus the long vowel sound sara'a, which we can use to make words. Every syllable in Thai has one of 5 tones: mid, low, falling, high, or rising. You can always figure out the tone of a syllable by how it is spelled. The first thing to know is the class of the consonant. All the consonants we've learned so far are low class. The next thing to know is if the syllable ending is live or dead. A live ending is one that makes it possible to keep resonating the sound. Syllables that end in long vowels are live. Do you remember the word for rice field? It was na. This is a live syllable because if I wanted to, I could extend the length of the word and say na. As long as I don't run out of breath, the sound goes on forever, so it is a live ending. The 5 consonant sounds we've learned are the only ones that can end a syllable and make the ending live. For example, you can keep making the sounds or for as long as you like, but you could not do it with t or sh. So now that we know what a live sound is, we can learn our first tone rule, which is low class initial consonant plus live ending equals mid-tone. A mid-tone is pronounced at a flat pitch in the middle of your regular vocal range. Na is an example of a mid-tone syllable. Na. Now let's use the tone rule to make some words. Ngongu, sara'a, nonu makes ngan. Ngan means work. The ng sound of nonu makes it a live syllable, so it is mid-tone. Ngan. Okay, try to write it. Ngongu, sara'a, nonu, ngan. The next word is yao, which means long. We write yao with yoyak, sara'a, wawan. Yoyak is a low-class consonant to start the syllable, and wawan at the end makes it a live syllable, so it's also mid-tone. Yao. Your turn to write it. Yoyak, sara'a, wawan, yao. The last word is nai, which means boss. We write nai with nonu, sara'a, yoyak. Again, it is mid-tone because it has an initial low-class consonant and has a live ending. Okay, one more for you to write. นอหนูสระอายอยักษ์นาย Now it's time for Pratana's points. Thai doesn't have a V sound like the letter V in Valentine, so Thai speakers use the letter วอแหวน in foreign words that contain the letter V. A lot of newer Thai words are loan words from English, while much of the Thai-based vocabulary consists of words that come from Indian languages such as Sanskrit and Pali. Do you know how to say good in Thai? In the next ตัวอักษรไทย Made Easy lesson, you'll learn how to say it and how to write it too. See you there. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะทุกคน ดิฉันกิตยาค่ะ Hi everybody, I am กิตยา Welcome to ThaiPod101.com's Learn Thai in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest, and the most fun way to learn Thai. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Have you forgotten? Here, I will tell you again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, we are ready for 11 and beyond. But before we start counting, I will tell you a secret. The numbers from 11 to 19 are just like the numbers from 1 to 9. Just start with the numbers for 10, 10, and add the second number after it. So, saying 14 in Thai will be just like saying 10, 4 in English. Isn't that easy? There's one tricky part though. For 11, we use the special word for 1, not 1, but 8. Okay, let's count from 11. 11 11 12 12 13 13 14 14 15 15 16 16 17 17 18 18 and finally we have 19 19. Okay, now repeat after me. I will say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. Do you see how easy it is? Just start with 10 or 10 and then just say the number from 1 to 9 after it. Just remember that for 11, we are going to say 8 instead of 1 to make 18. Okay, so what happens at 20 and above? Well, Thai numbers just get easier and easier. Take the number from 1 to 9 that you learned in the last lesson, and then just add the word for 10, 10. There is only one tricky part though. For 20, instead of using song, you will use yi. So listen carefully. 20 20 30 30 40 40 50 50 60 60 70 70 80 80 90 9 10 Do you see how easy it is? Just be careful to use ยี่ instead of 2 for 20 to make 20 and you'll be fine. 100 is 100. Can you break this down? The first part, which you learned in the last lesson, is 1, 1. The second part is 100, which means 100. Then you will get 100. 100.
How would you say 56 in Thai? Let's take it step by step. 50 is 50 and then add 6. 6. 56 is done. Isn't that easy? Let's make another number. For instance, 98. Take 90, 90 and add 8. 8. 98. One last tricky part. If you are trying to add the number 1, 1, in a compound number, for example, 21 or 31, you need to add an 8 instead of 1, just like you did with 11. 21 is not 21, it's 21. 31 is 31. It's the same all the way through 90.
Now, it's time for Kitaya's quick tip. After only 2 lessons, you are now able to count to 100 in Thai. You can continue to make numbers from 101 to 199 just by placing 100 in front of the numbers we have learned in this lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to put your number knowledge to use. Do you have all the skills you need to go shopping in Thailand? If not, I'll be waiting for you for our next Learn Thai in 3 minutes lesson. See you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ ดิฉันปรารถนาค่ะ Welcome to ThaiPod101.com's ตัวอักษรไทย made easy. The fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn the Thai alphabet. ตัวอักษรไทย In the last lesson, we learned 3 low-class consonants, งองู ยอยักษ์ and วอแหวน Do you remember how to write them? In this lesson, you are going to learn a few middle-class consonants plus a new vowel. Ready to start? Then let's go. The first new consonant for this lesson is กอไก่ Gai means chicken. This letter actually looks a little bit like a chicken's head with its beak pointing to the left. The sound of กอไก่ as the initial consonant of a syllable is ก. It is very similar to a hard G or an unaspirated K. Do you remember the live syllable endings from the last lesson? Well, กอไก่ makes a dead syllable ending instead. We can call the ending sound made by กอไก่ a K stop because all you do is stop the sound by closing off the passage of air at the back of your throat. It is like trying to say a K sound but without letting any air come out of your mouth. กอไก่ is one of only 2 Thai consonants that doesn't have a head. To write it, just start on the lower left, go up, and make a sharp hook, then come down on the right side. Another middle-class consonant is ดอเด็ก Dek means child. As the initial consonant of a syllable, ดอเด็ก makes the sound d, just like the letter D in diamond. ดอเด็ก also makes a dead sound when it's the final consonant. We can call its sound a T stop because you stop the sound by closing off the air in your mouth by touching your tongue near your teeth. It is like you're trying to make a T sound without releasing any air. You can remember the shape of ดอเด็ก by thinking that the bottom is pointed like a diamond. We write ดอเด็ก with a clockwise head in the center. The line continues to make a point and the line bends around to the right side. The third consonant you'll learn today is บอใบไม้ ใบไม้ means leaf. As the initial consonant of a syllable, บอใบไม้ makes the sound b like the B in bucket. You can also think about the shape of บอใบไม้ as a bucket, which might help you remember its sound. We can call its ending sound P stop because we shut off the flow of air by closing our lips. Try making a P sound without opening your lips. That's what the syllable ending sound of บอใบไม้ is like. บอใบไม้ is very easy to write. It's just like มอม้า or นอหนู without a loop at the bottom. Start with a clockwise head and then add 3 straight lines. That's it. Congratulations! You now know all of the final consonant sounds in Thai. I know what you're thinking. Don't we have a lot more letters to learn? We do, but all of the remaining consonants share one of the final sounds that you've already learned. So, no more new complicated final sounds. Do you remember the first tone rule we learned? It was low-class initial consonant plus live ending equals mid-tone. One example was the word นาน The next tone rule is very similar, so it will be easy to remember. It is middle-class initial consonant plus live ending equals mid-tone. Let's try using the middle-class consonants we learned to make some words with this rule. But first, I want to show you one new vowel. This is สระอี It is a long vowel that makes the sound E like the double E in green. สระอี is written above a consonant. For example, here's the wordดี which means good. We write the consonant ดอเด็ก first and then put สระอี on top. D is mid-tone because it has a middle-class consonant with a long vowel, which gives a live ending. When writing สระอี you should start on the right side and draw a line to the left, then make a curved line above that goes back to the right, then a short vertical line. Now let's write another word. Start with กอไก่ and add สระอา Together that makes กา which means crow. Ga also has a middle-class consonant with a long vowel, so that's mid-tone. Now you try to write it. กอไก่ สระอา กา Here's one more word. Can you read it? It's บาน which means to bloom. Ban is also mid-tone. Why? Well, it has an initial middle-class consonant and a live ending. Let's write บาน together. บอใบไม้ สระอา นอหนู บาน Now it's time for Prathana's points. Practice recognizing Thai consonants and vowels by reading through the vocabulary lists and conversation transcripts on ThaiPod101.com. You won't recognize every letter just yet, but it's great practice for the ones you do know, and you can start to get familiar with the shapes of the rest. Do you know the Thai word for washing clothes? You'll learn how to read it while adding a new tone in the next ตัวอักษรไทย Made Easy lesson. See you there. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะทุกคน ดิฉันกิตยาค่ะ Hi everybody, I'm กิตยา Welcome to ThaiPod101.com's Learn Thai in 3 minutes, the fastest, easiest, and the most fun way to learn Thai. In the last lesson, we learned how to count in Thai. I hope you spend some time practicing because that will come in handy in this lesson. We are going to learn how to go shopping in Thailand. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is it. ราคาเท่าไหร่ If you are a man, add ครับ to make this more polite. If you are a woman, add ค่ะ ราคาเท่าไหร่ Are you ready to go shopping in Thailand? Let's go! If you want to be more specific when asking how much is this, referring to a certain type of object, we first need to add that noun. For example, hat is หมวก Then we add the classifier for the noun. This is similar to how we say 2 loaves of bread in English instead of 2 breads, except all nouns in Thai have these classifiers. The classifier of hat is ใบ and finally the word นี้ which means this. ขอโทษนะคะ หมวกใบนี้ ราคาเท่าไหร่คะ Excuse me, how much is this hat? ขอโทษนะคะ หมวกใบนี้ ราคาเท่าไหร่คะ And skirt is กระโปรง The classifier of skirt is ตัว ขอโทษนะคะ กระโปรงตัวนี้ราคาเท่าไหร่คะ Excuse me, how much is this skirt? ขอโทษนะคะ กระโปรงตัวนี้ราคาเท่าไหร่คะ At this point, the shop clerk will answer with a number and then the word for the currency in Thailand, which is the baht. บาท ใบละ บาท ตัวละ บาท For example, ใบละ 99 บาท ตัวละ 58 บาท What number is 65? Do you remember from the last lesson? It's 65. 65 บาท It costs 65 baht. Now it's time for Kitaya's quick tips. Remember that it's always polite to add ka after ราคาเท่าไหร่ if you're a woman or ครับ after it if you're a man. However, in casual situations, you can omit this and just say ราคาเท่าไหร่ which means how much. ราคาเท่าไหร่ At this point, can you count in Thai baht? We are going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I will be waiting for you in our next Learn Thai in 3 minutes lesson. See you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ